Welcome to Spirit Flow, the sacred space where we believe spiritual health is the foundation of everything. I'm Tara, and I created this show to support women who are ready to reconnect with their essence, clear energetic blocks, and lead from their soul. When we're spiritually aligned, our health, our relationships, and our purpose begin to flow with ease. Each week, we'll explore the deeper layers of healing through conversations, reflections, and multidimensional lenses: spiritual, energetic, physical, and metaphysical. Let's step into the flow. Hi, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Spirit Flow. It's such an honor to share this space with you. And today I want to bring you into one of the most sacred relationships I've ever cultivated. A tool, yes, but more than that, a companion. A living, breathing field that continues to meet me at every stage of my own evolution, the Akashic Records. And this isn't just a modality I use in my work. It's the space I return to when I need clarity, when I feel overwhelmed, stuck, or disconnected from my truth. It's the field I enter when I'm supporting a client with something they can't quite name: an emotional pattern, a creative block, a deep longing for purpose. It's where answers don't just land in your mind. They arrive in your body, in your breath, in your cells. And if you've ever felt like traditional healing only kind of like scratches the surface, like you're going in circles, doing all the work, but still carrying something heavy that you can't quite explain, I want you to know that you're not broken, because what you're sensing is real, and what you're seeking might not be found in another strategy, an affirmation, or a mindset shift. It might be found in the frequency of remembrance. Because the Akashic Records, they aren't just information, right? It isn't just this storehouse of information. It's not this fortune telling kind of tool by any means. It's like this living, breathing field of consciousness, of unconditional love, truth, and soul wisdom. And when you learn to enter this space, not from the mind, but from your being, you begin to access healing that transcends time. You begin to shift a lot of these patterns that didn't even start in this lifetime. You begin to remember the version of you that has always been whole. So today, I want to take you into the depth of what's possible inside the records, what healing actually looks like, and why it's not linear, and how this sacred space can become your most powerful friend in this life, in this business, in your becoming. So let's begin. So to begin this journey, let's come back to the essence. Like, what are the Akashic Records? So the word Akasha comes from the ancient Sanskrit language, and it translates to ether or spirit. It's the subtle element, the energetic space that exists beyond the physical. It's the unseen thread that weaves all of life together. It is the original element, the one that holds all others. And from this Akasha, everything, like everything, is born. And so the Akashic Records then are like this vibrational archive of every soul's journey. And they're often described as an energetic library, a field of memory that contains all the experiences, choices, thoughts, emotions, and potentials your soul has ever known across all timelines, all lifetimes, and all dimensions. Yes, they hold your past lives. Yes, they hold your present moment, but they also contain your soul's highest potentials. What becomes possible when you step into alignment with your true self. And so, unlike a psychic reading, which can sometimes feel like someone's like peering into you, the Akashic Records invites you to meet yourself in your highest truth. So there's no fortune telling here. There's no rigid kind of memory or destiny that's coming through. It's only this deep remembrance. Remembering the contracts you made before you incarnated. Remembering the gifts that you've always carried. And remembering why certain wounds, relationships, or patterns keep showing up so you can finally shift them with love. And what I love most is this. The records aren't reserved for special people. You don't need to be a psychic or a healer or a guru to access them. Every single soul has a record, and we can access not only our own, but yes, the records of others' people. But we need to do that with permission and integrity. We can also read the energy of a business, a home, a relationship, a creative project, or even an event, because everything has energy and every energy has a story. So when we open the Akashic Records, we're entering into a sacred conversation, a space of divine neutrality, unconditional love, and this soul-aligned truth. We're not just reading information. What we're doing is we're remembering who we truly are beneath all the noise. And it's so gentle, yet so expansive. And it's always exactly what your soul is ready to receive. And one of the most profound aspects of the Akashic Records and what sets them apart from so many other modalities is the way they work beyond the limitations of time. In our everyday world, we live in linear time. We live in past, present, future, one foot in front of the other. But in the Akashic Records, in the Akashic field, time is non-linear. Everything is happening now. And that means you're not just healing your current self, you're touching past versions, parallel timelines, even future expressions of your soul that ripple backward with love and recalibration. It's multidimensional, it's quantum, and it's so, so deep. And when you enter the records with intention, you're not just pulling at surface weeds, right? You're going right to the root. Often, what we're struggling with in this lifetime didn't actually begin here. So let's look at an example. Like maybe you've been doing lots of work being visible in your business. Like you've cleared the mindset blocks. You've practiced speaking your truth. You've tried all the affirmations, but still every time you go to speak, your throat tightens, your body contracts. You feel really exposed and vulnerable or even unsafe to be seen. And so through the lens of the Akashic Records, what we might uncover that in a past life, you were harmed for speaking out. Maybe you were a healer, a mystic, a teacher, and your truth threatened the systems of power. That fear you're feeling now isn't irrational. It's like this residue. It's a soul imprint that's been waiting to be released. And the same goes for like money blocks, for burnout cycles, or deep patterns of self-abandonment. We might start to find karmic contracts where you vowed to take care of everyone else before yourself. Or soul level decisions made in lifetimes of sacrifice where you equated service with suffering. And then there's all these ancestral layers that come through as well, because so much of what we carry doesn't even begin in our soul's individual journey. It's woven into our bloodline. Stories of scarcity, of shame, silence, or submission passed down generation after generation. And because no one before you had the tools or the space to clear them, they live on until someone brave enough says, "This ends with me." You are that person, and the Akashic Record supports you in that remembering. They allow you to see what's being hidden in the field and bring it to the light with compassion. And so in the records, we don't bypass, we don't shame, we just witness. And in that witnessing, healing naturally unfolds. We can clear soul contracts that are no longer serving us. We can release vows of poverty, of silence, or invisibility. We can rewrite old narratives and open up to these new energetic agreements, ones that are based in joy, abundance, ease, and this divine purpose. And the best part, because this healing happens in the quantum field, it actually ripples across all timelines. It not only frees your past selves, but it liberates your future. And it echoes outward, it ripples outward into your family, into your community, your lineage. And this is why Akashic Records is not just a modality, it's just this sacred tool for soul liberation. So now that we kind of understand the depth that the Akashic Records can offer us across all the lifetimes, lineages, and timelines, you might be wondering, well, what does the healing actually look like? The short answer is it's different for everyone. And every session is so unique because healing in the records meets you exactly where you are and offers only what your soul is ready to receive. It's not dynamic, it's not performative, and it's not about being fixed. It's really subtle, it's really sacred and cellular. And often it's surprisingly gentle. You know, some people feel an immediate shift, like this fog has lifted or a weight has been released. Others feel waves of emotion, like long held tears finally being released and acknowledged. Some simply just feel this deep peace as though their body has finally released and exhaled after years of holding on. And sometimes the shifts unfold slowly in the days and the weeks after. And you start to notice, hey, that conversation that used to trigger me, it doesn't anymore. That opportunity that I was afraid to go for, it lands with ease now. And that idea that I kept second guessing, it becomes clear. One of my clients described it as a silent inner rewire. Another client said that it's like remembering something I didn't know I'd forgotten. And suddenly I felt this freedom. And in the records, we don't need to relive our pain to release it. Like we don't need to dissect every little memory or retell every story, right? Instead, we meet it at this energetic root with love, not judgment. And the energy of the records holds you through it. It's it's one of the places I've ever found that offers truth and tenderness in equal measure. Like you see what you need to see, but you're never alone in seeing it. Like you are held always. You know, sometimes your guides will speak. Sometimes your own higher self will step forward. Sometimes you receive images, symbols, emotions, even light codes or downloads. And other times, it's just silence. This beautiful, golden, still silence. And that too is healing. And this is why I say the Akashic Records don't tell you who you are. They remind you of who you've always been. They bring you home to yourself, to that original frequency, to your truth before the world told you who to be. Whether you're seeking answers, integration, direction, or this deep soul reset, the records will meet you there. Not to give you a script, but to help you remember your own. And it's from that place. The healing isn't just deep, it's lasting. So now that we've explored how healing actually unfolds in the records, I want to speak to some of the common themes that show up, not for just clients, but in the collective field as well. Because while every soul journey is, yes, unique, there are threads that so many of us carry, patterns that stretch across generations and lifetimes. And when we name them, they lose some of their charge. They become easier to hold, to clear, and to alchemize. So let's name a few of the most common energies I see that arise in the Akashic Records. The first one is the worthiness wound, and this is a big one. And it often sounds like, who am I to do this? Why would anyone listen to me? I'm not enough, or I'm too much, or I need to be more like this. So many souls have carried this imprint through lifetimes of persecution, of separation, of suppression, and systemic conditioning. And so in the records, we're often shown where this began, not just in this life, but in many. And once we meet it, we begin to untangle the belief that we need to earn our worth. We remember that we've always been worthy because we exist. The second one is around fear of being seen. Like this is especially common for those on the spiritual path. A lot of light workers, intuitives, creatives, and heart-led leaders. Visibility wounds are often rooted in past lives where being seen literally wasn't safe. So we're talking about burnings, exiles, betrayals, silencing. And in this life, it might show up as self-doubt, fear of sharing a truth, or an upper limit on how to allow yourself to be. The records helps brings this compassion to these stories. It opens up new, safer pathways to be visible without losing yourself. The third one I want to talk about is money and abundance blocks, and this is a layered one. It can come from past lives where wealth was tied to guilt, corruption, or betrayal. It can be inherited from ancestors who struggled to survive, who equated sacrifice with virtue. And it can actually come from soul vows as well, like the vow of poverty taken as like a monk, a priestess, or healer. And in the records, we can uncover and clear those old agreements. We begin to write new ones, ones that align with overflow, with trust and support. The fourth one I want to talk about is soul purpose confusion. So many people come into the records asking, what am I here to do? And the records, they never give a job title or checklist. Instead, they bring through frequency. Your purpose is who you are, not what you do. We explore your gifts, your soul lineage, your lessons. We reconnect you to your natural state of being. So whatever you build or offer flows from truth. And the fifth one I want to touch on is the ancestral healing and lineage work. I see this come up so often in women who are breaking cycles. Cycles of silence, overgiving, emotional shutdown, fear of rest, suppression of the feminine. The records give us access to your ancestral line, not just biologically, but energetically. Like we can start to meet those energies, those patterns and stories held in your family field and offer them healing. And often what you heal for yourself, you heal for the 7 generations before and after you. And these are just a few of the many, many layers that arise. And each time you enter the records, you're shown exactly what your soul is ready to see. Never more, never less. And it's not about fixing, it's about remembering, returning to your center, reclaiming your power, and rising from a place of wholeness. So if you're still here with me, I want you to take a breath, place your hand on your heart and know this. You already hold the keys. The Akashic Records aren't just some mystical tool reserved for a few chosen people. It's not a special power given to psychics or spiritual teachers. It's your birthright. And the records, they live within you, and they've always been there, whispering through intuition, through deja vu, through dreams, synchronicities, and those deep inner knowings you can't explain. You are not here to be told who you are. You are here to remember. And the Akashic Path is a simple and a sacred way to open that door, to access the wisdom that you've carried across lifetimes, to heal those stories that you've inherited, and to meet the version of you that already exists on the other side of fear, doubt, and conditioning. And once you open that door, it changes everything. Your business becomes more aligned, your relationships become so much more authentic, and your energy really softens and deepens and expands. But most of all, you begin to trust yourself again. And if this episode stirred something inside of you, and if you felt resonance in your bones or this gentle yes in your body, then maybe this is your next step. Maybe this is your moment to stop outsourcing your truth and start remembering your own. The Akashic Path is coming up, and it's my 8-week journey where we certify you and I teach you how to read and work with the records for yourself and for others. It's so practical and powerful. It's gentle and it's so utterly transformative as well. So if you feel the call, you can head to the link in the show notes to learn more. I would be honored to walk this next part of the journey with you. So until next time, keep listening, keep trusting, and know the records are always open, always loving, and always here when you're ready to return. Thank you for sharing space with me today. If this episode resonated, come find me on Instagram at tara.hegarty to keep the conversation going. You'll find all of the resources we talked about on today's show linked in my bio under podcast resources. Until next time, remember, spiritual health changes everything.